What's going on, guys? My name is Zach, and I'm an automation specialist. And in today's video, I'm going to be vibe coding with you guys, showing you how to create a beautiful front-end UI all the way from scratch. I created a example, let's call it a lead gen flow front end, just to see what's possible. So in this, we're gonna have a lead capture form, kind of like a Typeform. I don't know if you know what Typeform is, but it's a very beautiful UI style form where people can input their data, and that's one of the most important parts of any automation possible is getting user data. Then we're going to create a kind of like a home page. So we're going to have the lead overview panel. It's going to tell you some data points, some new leads today, qualified leads. This isn't going to work 100%. This is just to give you the idea of what's possible and how to do it. So then we're going to create a CRM-style lead table. If I was actually building this out, which I might do later, I would probably use Airtable. I love Airtable. Next, we're going to do a lead source chart, a pie or bar chart, email campaign preview, a lead scoring logic preview, task scheduler widget, and integration panel. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up Cursor. If you don't know what Cursor is a way to vibe code. I can make another video to show you guys how to do that. So let's go over here and we're going to create a new project for fun. And we're going to call this vibe coding. Cool. And now we're going to open that up. Go to here, apps, vibe coding. And we're just going to use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It's probably the easiest to do. So the first thing we're going to do is create an index.html file. And I always create an assets folder too, to put any images as well. So the next thing, okay, so what we're actually going to do is, I just created a little prompt here, and we're going to create a demo idea. We're literally just going to take this and put it into this little bot right here. I'm gonna have talk to it, and it's gonna create a lot more stuff. Actually, let me see if it's gonna do. I think it will do it in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I didn't tell it to. That was my mistake. But I've worked with my AI long enough where it knows what I like to do. So while this is going, and honestly, this will probably take like maybe just a minute or so. So while this is loading, my name is Zach. I'm an automation specialist, and I've been programming for 14 years, and I actually hated programming. So I worked as a software engineer for 7 years for an aerospace company, and I did not like programming. I love business, but when AI came out, it really just changed everything. It allowed me to become way more creative with what's going on in the world. And so now I don't have to worry about the nuances of programming anymore. I can really focus on the business aspect of lead generation, sales, marketing, delivery, customer success. Those to me are the most important things, and I enjoy that every day. So, okay, so now you see here that we have a file. I'm not going to accept it yet. I'm going to go over here, open with live server. So we're going to open it with live server, and we're going to check out to see what this looks like. So lead flow. Okay, actually, this did a pretty good job. I'm not going to lie. I thought this was going to be a lot more stuff. So right now, again, this doesn't work. So lead capture new leads. It created a form right here. I click a button. I don't think it does anything. And then it shows, holy crap. I'm not going to lie. I did not think it was going to be this decent looking. So new leads today, qualified leads this week, estimated value, lead overview. So this right here, this section can be linked to an Airtable in the backend, and it's cool. You could change the statuses here by clicking this button, and then it would update in real time. So that's why I like using Airtable. Like, notice this; these are black. I would definitely change these out. Did you see this move? I didn't even know that moved. That's pretty sick. I don't even know what's going on. Oh, you can, if you click it, it filters out if you want to look at that or not. That is really, really cool. here's an email campaign sequence that, as an example. I don't love these colors. We can update all this stuff. I'm pretty sure I know these all work. It did a really, really good job. I'm gonna move my face over here. Okay, and then connected apps: Zapier, Slack, MailerLite. If you don't know what MailerLite is, it's a way for email sequencing and automation. It's really cool. Then we have Calendly. Okay, great. So, but let's say we want to, I like to. I don't know if you know what Font Awesome is. It's another icons instead of emojis. I think it looks better and sexier. So let's accept this file. And we're gonna say, let's use Font Awesome instead of emojis. My horrid typing skills this morning. Okay, it's gonna do its thing. For what I like to do, I just like to use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to get the idea out there. And I actually have I work with other developers, some local here in Orlando and some overseas, to actually build out. If I want to build it in React or if I want to build it in another programming language, I use that. So what they did here is they added a styles sheet with Font Awesome. They use 6.5.1. They're always changing the version on me, but I think the current version is 6.7.2. So you can just change that, but we'll keep it for now just to see what it looks like, and it should automatically change. See right here, I don't love that fire thing, but these are kind of cool. I think these are better than emojis, but you tell me if you like emojis better. I'll go for it. I'm gonna change. So under lead sources, I'm gonna say change the labels. So under the lead sources, change the label text color to white because they are too dark. All right, this should take about not even like 10 seconds. Brrr, done. I'm not sure exactly what they. Let me see what they updated. Here, let me do this. I don't think they knew what I was talking about, so I'm gonna tell them Facebook ads, Google search, cold email, and referrals. I'd be like, I'm not sure what you did, but I was talking about the Facebook. What was it? The Facebook ads, Google search, etc. I probably should have prompted it to do that beforehand, but you live and you learn. I guarantee. There we go. I don't know what I did beforehand, and if you want to see me put this, we can definitely move this over to a backend. I'm just going to show you what Airtable is. Airtable is one of my favorite things. I have a lot of my other websites and forms connected through here. Let's see, website forms. I can show you here. It's just basically like, I call it Google Sheets on steroids. It's a lot better. So anytime someone puts in their name, I get a notification. You can have automations already set up inside of here, and it has really nice advanced logic that you can integrate with other things like Slack, Microsoft Teams, Gmail, Google Calendar. The list goes on. And I like getting text messages and emails when someone fills out a form. So this is just kind of the idea. And if you're talking to a client and you want to build out something quick for them to see, be like, hey, this is something I could build for you. We can talk more about it. We can go over the entire list of features. And you can also say, if they're like, oh, that's too much for me, like, no problem. What features would you like me to take off? By saying that, you give them the control of how much it costs in terms of pricing. So if it costs 30 grand and you have this AI integration and you have this whole section is all AI stuff, you're like, no problem, I can take this out and it will be a lot less. Let's say we'll subtract $10,000 from it, and they're like, oh, okay, well, you're in control of that. But if you do want it or you want it later, we can add that back on. So really, the reason I'm showing you this is a way for you to, I guess you could call it like a lead magnet, but if you are in a community and you're talking to people who have a similar problem, you could go on AI, ChatGPT, and say, hey, all these people are having the same problem. Can we create a demo, a visual demo, to help people visualize and see a possible solution of what they can do? And I do this all the time. I just closed a $15,000 contract the other day, and I signed it yesterday. We're building Slack bots, 4 different Slack bots for an ad agency, which is really cool. I'm excited to do that. And I also just put out a huge quote for a construction company who needs a whole internal CRM. They want to copy another company and just have the same features, but specific for their company. This is kind of what I do. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I love to chat. I love talking AI, automation, software, all that type of stuff. You can find me on Instagram at Zach with 2 H's, ZACHH.Ross, ROSS. That's my handle. Talk to me there. DM me. Love to talk to you. Have a good day. Bye.